I just recently expressed my love-hate relationship for the sci-fi genre in my last video. But on this channel, instead of ripping a movie a new one for my disdain for remakes and reboots and the fear of stories that were actually good, I'd rather recommend movies that I found enjoyable and entertaining. So today I present one of the most interesting stories I've seen on screen. I'm talking about 2014's Time Lapse. This movie kind of lulls you, Dr. Jekyll's you, if you will, into a false sense of security before it turns itself into Mr. Hyde. Written and directed by Bradley D. King, the premise is pretty simple. But with a simple canvas, you can create an elaborate masterpiece. As three roommates discover a camera that shoots pictures that are 24 hours into the future. You can only imagine how the possibilities and temptations will rear their ugly heads into the scenario like that. Our main stars, Finn, a painter with a creative block, has his living girlfriend and gambling-addicted best friend all living with him. All the wheels start turning on how to understand truly what they've stumbled upon and the advantageous positions information like that could do for their lives. I think this is actually an homage to an old episode of The Twilight Zone, A Most Unusual Camera, with a similar scenario and setup, but really got to explore the concept with more full screen time, less moral restraint than that era. I mean, this movie's not groundbreaking or anything, but it is a solid piece of storytelling. This is another movie that I enjoy with limited set changes, but a good movie is about conveying the story it's trying to tell, no matter where or how cool it looks. Upon doing my research for this movie, I found that it had numerous indie and foreign film awards. But I'm actually not surprised. The actors keep you engaged. They do a great job of building and keeping the suspense. You consistently wonder what will happen next, almost on the edge of your seat, to see what the camera will reveal next and how the roommates will react to it. This movie is a portrayal of a term called a casual loop. I'm gonna try and explain it. I hope I don't screw this up, but your past self sees your future self, and thus that alters your present self, which in essence will change your future self. I think it's like the expression, if I knew then what I know now, if that made any sense. Anyway, the manipulations, deceit, and cunning is real in this one. You see how power corrupts and friends become enemies. It's a mature and complex subject matter, well executed, and handled with maturity and subtlety. Alright, so let's talk about what I thought was good about the movie. The tone and pacing of the movie was very well done. This movie keeps you in high anticipation of the next step forward. The acting and relationship dynamics all seem believable, and you can see the chemistry between the main actors. There is a good amount of foreshadowing, reveals, and plot twists, all the hallmarks of good storytelling and good writing. I think that Time Lapse was well written and well executed. The subtle hints and clues given into the true magnitude of what's going on, accompanied by a great pacing and emotional highs and lows. I was very impressed by how entertaining this movie was with the limited cast and resources that it had, but they really managed to display an impactful and powerful turn of events. At some times in the movie, I'm so invested I find myself yelling at the TV screen. So now let's go over what I thought was bad about the movie. Because this is a sci-fi thriller, there's a lot of tension building, and sometimes that can cause some scenes to drag on a bit. Some of the performances are a little lackluster, but overall they serve their purpose the movie needs it to. There's also a heavy dose of dialogue in this movie, so be prepared to listen. But it helps to express the emotion and the tone of the movie. As the actors read their lines, the cloud of emotions start to creep overhead, then you're left standing in a storm of their emotion until it stops for a brief moment, only to come crashing down once again in the next scene. So now let's discuss what I thought were the highlights of the movie. The sheer amount of twists and turns this movie takes. Just when you think you're going one way, you wind up in a totally different direction. I enjoyed the paradox between a device that can help fulfill their wildest dreams and free them from all of life's bullshit is also the device that keeps them prisoner and stuck in a rinse-repeat cycle of waiting to see what wisdoms the camera can provide to them. The tricks that greed and power will play on the mind, corrupting and warping a person from their true nature, or is it just exposing what a person's true nature really is? I don't want to give away any details because this is one of those movies that every time you watch it, you see something you might have missed previously. This is a great exploration of relationships and the human psychic, when additional stimuli, or Pandora's box more precisely, is added to a situation. The different motivations and thought processes of each individual affected by the camera. You get to see how far and determined everyone is willing to be to get what they want. A picture can be worth 1,000 words, and seems these pictures, depending on what's seen, will make you want to go in 1,000 different directions. I give Time Lapse 3.5 out of 5 stars. I can't undersell this movie. The movie has the ability to slowly build tension, relax, let the movie breathe for a moment before it again slowly builds the tension back up. The dramatic scenes are very well portrayed, and the threat of events all seem to play out reasonably and maturely, given the stressful situation each individual has been thrust into. I was invested, I was intrigued, and I was left with a lot to think about. Now that's entertainment. I hope I've given you a quality recommendation. You enjoy yourself. Thanks for watching.